Airman Cave Archives! Knowing and doing are two different things. Hey, how you doing? Well, welcome back to Airman Cave Archives. Again, the hat and the book kind of tell this story or area that we're going to be covering. So I'm thinking sports and family-ish memorabilia. So, let's see. Oh, goodness. I'm going to start with over on this side of the room, and we'll look at a letter that Hank Aaron sent my grandfather, Grandpa Jim. And actually, side note, his name wasn't Jim, it was Austin Justice Jr. But I hear tale that he was a card player, and so Jim was his table name, and then that way if anybody ever came looking for Jim, you know, that was Austin, not Jim. So anyway, so the letter. This is from Hank Aaron, and to take you back, I was a young kid, had just started collecting ball cards, sports cards. I think it was around 87 time frame, and I'd gone for a visit to see my grandfather, Grandpa Jim, and we went to a underpass for over a highway, and there was like a flea market there, and so they had all kinds of sports cards and stuff and all kinds of other crap too, but that was kind of the main thing that we went there for. So after we bought some little blister packs and stuff and wax packs, and my grandfather and I had gotten to go through them and lead through some of the cards and eat the crappy gum that like broke into little pieces of chalk and stuff whenever you ate it. We're driving back to his house, and we pull in the driveway, and he's like, "Hey, do you know who Hank Aaron is?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I know Hank Aaron." He said, "All right, well check this out. Reach in the glove compartment and pull out a letter. And there should be like an envelope, and it says the Atlanta Braves on it." I was like, "Okay." So I opened the glove box and I looked through, and here's this letter, and I start reading it, and it talks about how Hank Aaron's telling my grandfathers thank you for the support. And so backstory, the time frame on this letter is May the 30th of 1973. Well, that was before he broke Babe Ruth's home run record. And so Hank Aaron was getting a lot of death threats and things from people that didn't want him to break it because he was African American. And Babe Ruth, the great New York Yankee that he was, you know, a Caucasian gentleman. And so there was a lot of death threats and mean things being said to Hank Aaron. And so my grandfather sent him a letter and basically said, "Look, man, if you can break the record, break the record. It doesn't matter what color you are. Just do it. Shut up and do it, because you know you can, and that's it." And so I thought it was kind of cool that prior to him breaking the record, that he took time out of his schedule to be able to write a letter to my grandfather. And it blew me away as, you know, this 11-year-old kid sitting in his grandfather's passenger seat holding a letter from Hank Aaron, and got to read that. So that was kind of cool. I've got a little one of the ball cards and stuff that I'd had, and a little piece of back card that I pulled from a pack. Now, transitioning, basically I've got a book up here. It's called The Rise and Fall of Dodger Town. So I don't know if you know what Dodger Town is, but Dodger Town is in Vero Beach, Florida. And basically that's the home of where the Dodgers would go for spring training for years. And it actually says 60 years of baseball in Vero Beach. Funny story, my Grandpa Jim and my Grandpa Cotton, both of them were diehard Dodger fans. And so at one point I had gone to visit Grandpa Jim, and I had my Yankee stuff on. And whenever I went to go into the house, he said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I came for a visit, Grandpa." And he said, "Okay, you need to go out on the porch." And I was like, I thought he was going to like bring me some sweet tea or something. I didn't know what was going on. And so then he comes out with this 1988 World Series T-shirt with some of the bobblehead or the big heads of the characters and stuff, and he gives it to me. He said, "Here, before you come in the house, you need to put this on." I was like, "What? Okay." And so he didn't want me to have a Yankees memorabilia or anything on before I came in the house because he was such a diehard Dodgers fan. But anyway, that gets us over into this area because now I'm looking over here and I see Dodgertown sign. So the next piece that we'll be talking about is the Dodgertown sign. So this particular sign, as I talked about there in Vero, was Dodgertown. So this is where the Dodgers would come and do their spring training and stuff. Cotton, my dad's dad, he loved to acquire things, and there's no hard evidence as to what he did to acquire this sign. But so this is one of the actual signs that was out by Dodgertown there in Vero that would tell people, which way or how to get to the location. What was really cool was my grandparents, Nellie and Cotton, they lived across the canal from Dodgertown, so they would go over there all the time, and it was neat. My dad had told me a story at one point where Cotton and him had gone to a spring training game, and they were walking around, and this guy kind of walked by that was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and Cotton says, "Hey, Willie," and the guy kind of chimes back, "Hey, Cotton," and keeps walking, and my dad turned around, and he looked at the guy, and he's like, "That was Willie Mays." And my grandpa being the guy that he is, he's like, "Okay, yeah, he's a guy," and he just kept on walking. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it, for again, I think this was around the same time frame that my other grandfather gave me the Hank Aaron letter. So it was neat to have two grandfathers that had such a rich history and a passion and a love for baseball, and for them to be able to pass down some pretty neat, unique items to me so that I can give those to my kids at some point as well, and hopefully show them my appreciation for baseball as well. Although they are Dodgers stuff, I'm a huge Yankees fan. Hey, Don Manley. But nonetheless, it is pretty neat items for baseball history. So again, thanks for coming back. Knowing and doing, two different things. So now you know the story that goes along with these two items. And if you would, please go do something. And I know that a bunch of you already have, and then share your stories as well so that we can hear what you've done. So again, thanks, and see you next time. Airman Cave Archives! Knowing and doing are two different things.